and welcome to the first video in this 3-part series I'll be doing on Tyler Creator's solo discography. This won't cover any EPs, any odd future projects, or the Grinch soundtrack. Part 1 will cover both Bastard and Goblin, and Part 2 will be Wolf and Cherry Bomb. And the third and final part will cover Flower Boy and Eagle. This is meant to be both a review and a simple breakdown of the projects that he's released. So without further ado, let's start with the first project on the list. Our first project is a mixtape from 2009, but could easily classify as an album.
Well, look, if you don't talk, these sessions are gonna go slower, so...
This is what the devil plays before he goes to sleep. Some food for thought, this food for death, go ahead and fucking eat. My father's dead, well I don't know, we'll never fucking meet. I cut my wrist and play piano cause I'm so depressed. Somebody called a pastor, this bastard is so possessed. This meeting just begun, nigga I'm Satan's son.
In Bastard, Tyler deals with the tough task of growing up and being misunderstood as a teenager. It does have some problematic lyrics, but this is coming from the alter ego Ace the Creator, which distorts Tyler's actions and make him do unspeakable things. There's also another character, with it being in the form of a therapist, Dr. TC. One of the highlights of the album is the intro track Bastard, which is over a slow beat but displays engaging lyrics, and it gives us a glimpse into Tyler's current life and his emotions about his surroundings. The next track 7 is also a highlight, having quite witty lines, especially with the transition between Bastard and 7.
Fuck a deal, I just want my father's email so I could tell him how much I fucking hate him in detail.
Wow. So Tyler, if you had the chance to tell him something, what would you tell him?
I tell him to eat a dick quicker than Mexicans sprint over borders. I give a fuck like a quarter with 20 cents.
7 is a rage hour of hip-hop bloggers who weren't taking him seriously and promoting artists who he either thought was inferior or overrated by the bloggers. Also, the 5th track, Blow, which is from the perspective of the serial killer Ted Bundy, has a catchy and entrancing cut, almost like I'm being drugged. The 7th track, Parade, feels like a muddy banger and deals with Tyler not being taken seriously. This is almost like, get this, a song which would play during the No Left Parade, as it represents one of the odd features called Tenets, which is a safe haven for people who had unheard voices. Also, the double song VCR/Reels is not only a disgusting burr capturing narrative track, but also carries the concept of double/multiple songs on the 10th track. Is something that Tyler would always come back to visit on every future project. On the 12th track, Sarah again flexes Tyler's skill to create a disgusting and engaging narrative. In the song, it starts out as a love ballad to a girl named Sarah, but ends up with her being killed, raped, and eaten by Tyler. The 15th and final track acts as almost like a loop onto the first track, as it is called Inglorious, and the first track is called Bastard. Tyler says he is an inglorious bastard. Again, Tyler visits the theme of the absence of his father and appreciates his mother fulfilling both roles.
Father's Day was the worst when it came to gifts, cause I ain't know for who or what the fuck to get. Now my mama mentioned the day before what she would like, cause she's playing both roles like her occupation was dyke fucking right.
And spoiler alert, if you haven't listened to the mixtape yet, by the way, it's free on Dapper for Mixtape Monkey. Anyways, onwards.
This counselor is trying to tell me that I'm emo, she don't give a fuck. Dealer, where's the trigger? I'll let this bullet play hero. Shit. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I ain't deserve this. I'm over it. Bang, bang.
Tyler finally kills his alter ego Ace via shooting. The project ends. This frees Tyler from committing these actions again and living his life normally. I believe that Ace is actually not a person or a personality, but a metaphor for Tyler's own absence of his father. As he repeatedly talks about either killing or raping women, this could easily be chalked up to Tyler not having any advice from his father about how to become more comfortable around women, and having the experience of having a father figure. But as said earlier, Tyler now realizes his mother was able to raise him up and fill him in the father figure role. Overall, a pretty good project is going to make me have an existential crisis when I'm 17, which was how old Tyler was when he made this whilst living at his mum's house. And also he produced it all. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10.
Threesomes with a fucking triceratops. Repped hard, rapping as I'm mocking deaf rock stars. Wearing synthetic wigs made of anwars, dreadlocks, bedrock, harder than a motherfucking Flintstone. Making crack rocks out of pussy nigga fish bones. This nigga Jasper tryna get grown. About 5'7" of his bitches in my bedroom. Swallow the cinnamon, I'ma scribble this shit and shit while Sid is telling me that she's been getting intimate with men. Sid, shut the fuck up. Here's the number to my therapist. You tell him all your problems, he's fucking awesome with listening.
The next album is Goblin, which is a sequel to Bastard, but also in the sense of amping everything up, which also includes his explicitly vulgar lyrics. This is Tyler's major label debut, but this is still very much homemade. Instead of just one ego accompanying TC and Tyler, there's a cast of multiple egos, which includes Wolf Haley and Truncat. It doesn't stop at the music, the album cover also has something to say. The cover on the standard Goblin album cover is a young Buffalo Bill at age 19, the same age Tyler was when this album was released. Buffalo was popular mainly because of his Wild West shows, which was presented as an annual circus touring around. This is like Tyler making Goblin, showing off his wild mind and his wild personality, and touring and rapping these shows on stages. The deluxe album cover could also be analysed as a black eyes, and the cover is also the same as in the She video, and this is representing Truncat. The first track, which is again titled after the album just like Bastard was, Tyler now talks about his fame and living up to expectations.
I'm not a fucking role model.
I know this.
I'm a 19-year-old fucking emotional coaster with pipe dreams. Since Kanye tweeted telling people he's bumping all of my shit, these motherfuckers think I'm supposed to live up to something shit.
Also does that thing where some rappers get annoyed about critics and express it a lot, like the Hiroshima type a lot.
Oh, that's a 336, isn't he a devil worshipper? Cause I'm too fucking ignorant to do some research. I'm the star of the group, so no one else gets the respect that they deserve.
Cause of you, Bastard was good though.
What you think I recorded for? To have a bunch of critics call my shit a bunch of horrorcore? Like I didn't make Parade or Inglorious, cause I'm too scared to tell my friends the way I really fucking feel? Of course they only listen to lyrics about me pissing off in the tombs of Lower Croft. I'm getting pissed off.
The second track, Yonkers, was dubbed as having the best music video of that year by Kanye West. Yes, when Kanye would impose his entire label contract on Twitter and announced albums that would never see the light of day if it weren't for people leaking it. Back to Tyler, this song is one of Tyler's best rap songs with some funny punchlines.
Jesus called, he said he's sick of the disses. I told him to quit bitching, this isn't a fucking hotline for a fucking shrink. Sheesh, I already got mine and he's not fucking working. I think I'm wasting my damn time. I'm clocking 3 past 6 and going postal. This the revenge of the dicks, that's 9 cocks that cock 9. This ain't no V-Tech shit or Columbine, but after
this track also introduces Wolf Haley, who would be a massive part of the next album Tyler would release.
this Wolf Haley guy is the guy that I really want to be. He's just wild. He's just fucking crazy. He wears those cool ass shorts and the cool ass button ups and shit. And that's me talking to him and him just taking over my fucking head. That whole song. And the Walking Paradox, no I'm not. That's me and him going at it within my head. Because paradox means it's like contradicting, taking back, you know, shit like that. So when you go back and listen to the song, every line that I say is like contradicting itself. And like I have what line? I say, green paper, gold teeth, and pregnant gold retrievers is all I want. And then I say, no, fuck money, diamonds and bitches don't need them. Those are basically the same things in different words. Like a bitch is a pregnant dog. That's a pregnant gold retriever. Like I contradict myself. And that's me saying, no, I don't want that. But Wolf Haley is saying, yeah, you do. It's just a big mind fuck.
The fourth track of the album features Frank Ocean, who was off his debut underground hit mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, which I still haven't listened to yet, even after listening to Blonde and Endless combined 1,000 times. Anyways, Frank delivers the introducing verse, which sets up the story Tyler creates, and also delivers a well-sung chorus, which warns a girl of Tyler.
Blinds wide open so he can see you in the dark when you're sleeping. Naked body, fresh out the shower, and you touch yourself after hours. Ain't no man allowed in your bedroom. You're sleeping alone in bed. Check your window.
Swag.
He's at your window.
In the song, Tyler stalks a girl and obsesses over her, and the end of the song has him arrested by the police. The song Nightmare again has Tyler delivering some pretty good rapping. The third verse on this song does a checkup on Tyler's feelings about the people in his life and is missing his friend who felt like a brother, Earl Sweatshirt, who couldn't share the privileges that Tyler and the rest of the OF crew were facing due to his parents putting him in boarding school.
Here's some water, man. You sing a little tense. How's the bay?
All because a nigga just don't give a fuck. Parents wanna blame me all because their kid is fucking up. But fuck that, you're a shitty parent face, suck it up. It's what you shoulda did before that nigga bust. Feel like I miss my little brother growing up. Feel like my little brother miss his brother growing up. But this is golf swing, like you miss his family growing up. I got a little taller since the last time you see me, bruh. Now I'm emo, so fuck it, I'm pulling up.
It's a bit heartbreaking to say the least. One thing I also like is how Tyler talks about Troncat, and the beat kind of reflects how Troncat is getting into Tyler's head. They're becoming high-pitched in the aforementioned third verse, as Tyler becomes more enraged.
What the fuck is Riley? Now you niggas wanna be nice
because the labels wanna sign me, but before the co-signing, then you fuckers couldn't find me.
Fuck that, I hope you die in a fiery death. One ear I got kids screaming, OF is the best. The other ear I got Troncat asking where the bullets and the bombs at, so I can kill these levels of stress. Shit.
I also like how the track transitions into the next track, with the outro playing and TC asking who's taking over Tyler's body, making him say some vulgar stuff.
Nigga, get off me.
Calm down, man.
Fuck off me, man. Fuck.
It's not many.
I don't know. It's like I'm a different person at times. Sometimes I'm fucking mad, sometimes I'm not. It's like I got a fucking voice in my head telling me to do all this fucked up shit, man. I don't fucking know, man.
What's this first name then, Tyler?
He tells me to do this shit that I don't want to fucking do.
What's his name?
Troncat.
This acts as a metaphor as Tyler's own emotions gets drowned out as the more outrageous things happen, and he feels as TC is not here to help Tyler with his own personal social problems, but only his bipolar disorder. Speaking of which, the next track, Troncat, gained a lot of traction, especially for this one explicit line.
Victim, honey, you're my fifth one. Honey on that topping when I stuff you in my system. Rape a pregnant bitch and tell my friends I had a threesome. You got a fucking death wish, I'm a genie, it'll get done.
This line basically sums up the explicitity of this album, and it also got him banned from the UK by Theresa May, who was Foreign Secretary at the time, and his ban got lifted around the time of his resignation as Prime Minister. Traplord Ross has a video on this which I'll leave in the description if you want to check it out. The outro of the song has TC speechless after looking at how dark and twisted Truncat is. The next highlight song, Sandwiches featuring Hodgie, definitely feels like a 2011 Odd Future song to say the least. On the 10th track, Tyler continues the tradition of making that one specific point in the album a multi-song. The first half, Fish, is again a repeat of Tyler's vulgarness, with him now meeting girls via fishing and Drake appearing them in the lake. Again, our Lord and Savior Frank Ocean appears for a bridge warning people of Tyler.
Now I'd like to take this time of day to thank the Mother Earth. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Letting the sun shine down on the lake while I fish your waters. Ooh, hide your daughters, hide your sisters, hell, hide grandmama too. Cause the fisherman's raping everybody in the pool. He on the loose. Yeah.
Almost like the features on this album are carrot. The second half is just bloody trash. As much as Tyler is important to my life and me maturing, this just sounds like what would happen if Tyler finished Fish, but tried to make it a double song, but he had to turn the album into the record in 2 hours, so he just made one track that him and his friends made whilst they was drunk, just for fun. But the thing is, Tyler was straight-edged, so he didn't drink. So my new nightmare is an outtake from a drunk Goblin era Tyler Creator, looping. Seriously, listen to these lyrics and tell me that this guy...
Oh, you passive aggressive, oh, you faking you're mad. Oh, you wanna go home cool, you better call you a cab. I ain't taking you home, yeah, I'm brushing you off. Cause it's Parker, it's Comb, you're my favorite garçon, don't...
Would also make this.
At a fucking clinic, cause my dick is swollen and keeps itching. Nigga, I'ma kill this bitch.
She a poppin' bitch. She a poppin' bitch. She a poppin' bitch.
However, the next song makes up for the mess that was Boppin' Bitch with Analog. It is quite a misleading song in having the listener think that it will fit Goblin's formula of Tyler either raping, murdering, or saying fuck the critics, or just saying the Lord's Prayer repeatedly. But actually, it turns out just to be Tyler hanging out at the beach, and it's nice to see Tyler relaxing for a bit.
You made me by the lake. Said bring a towel. Made me by the lake. Baby, so it's going down. Just made me by the lake. We can count shooting stars. Cause you made me by the lake. Summer never have to end with me.
In fact, the song earned a sequel on the Odd Future Tape Volume 2, which released the next year. The next track, Bitch Suck Dick, sounds like it came from a Jasper album, which is never a bad thing. You smite Jasper's name, Jesus is gonna smite you to hell. Unfortunately, the Antichrist in the form of Tronk has arrived and is smitten Christ and his disciple Taka.
Yo, Jasper, Taco, y'all my niggas, man. I love y'all niggas. I'm sorry.
Ah, what the fuck?
The moment then starts the last 3-track run of the album, and it starts off with Window, which on the feature list is Domo, Genesis, Hodgie, Frank, and Mike G. Domo spits a good verse about his aspirations and the tour life he's currently on. The next verse, delivered from Frank, recounts the time when he first met Tyler in the OF crew near studio where Bastard was recorded, before he was about to commit suicide, but probably just didn't do it because OF felt welcoming to him.
And 5 minutes from suicide, I biked it to the park. I walked him to the block, met a guy, burgundy preem snapback, hurling himself at cars and flirting with blonde Cadillacs. All was great. Frankie had the blues, in fact. Bunch of pale hipster girls, pretty but they booty flat. Teenage males couldn't tell I was going through it. Had a wallet full of cream, Amex green, Beamer almost black. Parked in front the studio, bastards recorded at.
This verse feels like some form of healing, letting him know that he matters. Hodgie's verse is like Domo's, still braggadocious, and so is Mike G's. These guest verses indicates that no one in Tyler's inner circle truly knows what is going on with Tyler. Even Frank, who is trying to be helpful, but is trying to cure the wrong problem. The rest of the guests are quite ignorant, living their own high life oblivious to Tyler's own feelings. This all culminates in a 4-minute verse block delivered by Tyler, which feels more like an emotional, rage-filled breakdown more so than a rap verse. In this verse, the mantra of critics actually has some weight to it, as it's always people who didn't like it and were against it. What does Tyler do when the world is against it? This emotion of entrapment and anxiety surrounds this album and has been oblivious to the characters in Goblin, with only one known is Tyler and his mind, which is captured by these songs. At the end of the song, Tyler kills Domo, Frank, Hodgie, and Mike.
Elvis has left the building. Fuck. This.
Nigga, what the fuck are you doing? You just go. Nigga, hold on. Nigga. Hey,
sorry.
Nigga, all this shit we've been through, can we just fucking talk about this? Nigga, you just gonna shoot me and my mother?
Sorry.
Fuck did I just do? Fuck.
Tyler, give me the gun.
This is all out of his own control due to his bipolar disorder. Tyler finally is able to snap back into reality and realize what he has done, with the shot that follows is represented by the next track, AU-79, which is purely instrumental, and the quick pacing drums represents Tyler's fed up heartbeat, and the synths meant to be the shock of the murder hitting him lightly, almost like he's lightheaded. The final track on the album, called Golden, continues Tyler's breakdown with him being himself against the world, and one lyric from Nightmares, a previous song from the album, perfectly describes how Tyler feels in the first 2 verses of Golden.
Email full of emails, I never write back and kill myself yet. And I already want my life back.
The first interlude after the first verse, TC says that Tyler should be fortunate that he has all this power and fame, and that TC is always here to talk to Tyler, and also how Yonkers is successful, gaining fans. But Tyler retorts by using the metaphor of white fans and compares it to people who only listen to Yonkers or just listen to the albums but don't listen to the lyrics deeply enough. This comment on Dat Piff on a Bastard re-release perfectly sums up Tyler's point. Tyler's a fucking genius. My favourite song is Ass Milk. Lol, that guy worships the devil. He doesn't worship the devil, are you stupid? If you listen to more of his music and not Yonkers, you would understand he never worshipped the devil. Are you stupid? Wait, don't answer, it's a yes. The interlude after the second verse is TC telling Tyler to be grateful, and Tyler responds by telling him that he has never been helpful. Tyler's shock comes back and eventually gets him to become crazy, and he says he's a
Yes, come on.
Fucking table!
He's losing it.
TC then calls in security. Next, the third verse kicks in with the first starting lines saying he's going to shoot someone again, comparing himself to a demon. Then there's this verse which acts like a metaphor.
And a gat that's filled with love, now that opposites attract, I can finally be one.
No.
Like a marriage in a church, but this marriage has a hearse. And the parents of the one that's getting married has a curse. And it's made up inside of him, too late to reimburse. But wait, it gets worse. All the guests that's in the church all decided to disperse.
Tyler.
So it was nobody who could stop the wedding with converse.
Don't wanna do
so
this.
they tied the knot. Now it's too late to reverse this arrangement.
Yes, it is.
This metaphor acts as a medding between 2 entities, and throughout this, TC is telling Tyler that it's not too late to stop this from happening. I believe that this metaphor represents Tyler turning into a goblin, and Tyler is a dwarf to his surroundings, and Truncat, the demon, are being married together, and it forms the Golden Goblin. In the outro of this song, the nurse and security finally comes in, and TC reassures Tyler that TC cared and that Tyler isn't crazy at all, but that it's just best if I play this bit.
Nobody gave a fuck.
Fuck off.
Someone gave a fuck, Tyler. And person I gave a fuck was me. See, you're not going crazy. It's me, I'm your best friend, Tyler. I know everything. I know everything about you. You've been helping yourself this whole time. Your friends are just fitting into your imagination. Dr. TC. See, Tyler, I'm your conscious. I'm Tron Cat. I'm Ace. I'm Wolf Haley. I'm
Me.
So, as we can see, TC stands for Tyler's conscience. Troncat, Ace, and Wolf Haley are the characters in Tyler's imagination. This changes the entire perception of the album, as it turns out what we thought to be twisted actions merely turned out to be twisted thoughts. For example, the song She is merely either A. Tyler considering stalking a girl that he likes and seeing if it would be worth it, basically him plotting out what would happen. He concludes that he'd be arrested. Or second way this could be interpreted is that Tyler is obsessed with this girl, and he's exaggerating these feelings. This epiphany turns Goblin into a vacuum for Tyler's thoughts, and the darker thoughts represent the characters like Ace or Troncat. All in all, the album which Tyler created is a complex idea of an album, but the analysis on the last 3-track run was 2.5 pages, compared to 2.5 pages of the rest of the album. Also, the last couple of minutes were on 3 tracks of a 15-track album. For an album, it doesn't matter how intelligent and complex the concept is. It matters how you explain it. Whether it be a simple story like Good Kid, Mad City, or Tyler's very own Eagle, or a repeating poem throughout To Pimp a Butterfly. The thing about Tyler's later album, Eagle, is the songs are about romance. It takes you back to the lush background of 80s pop songs. However, Goblin's production is pretty minimalist, which is sometimes a good thing, but on tracks like Radical, it just sounds loud and sounds like Tyler just listened to Death Grips and tried to match their energy. On Bitch, I already talked about that song. The production in comparison to his later work is pretty much nothing. Even comparing this to Bastard at least has some form of refinement to it and has its own flair and is unique from the rest of the albums. I feel like Goblin would massively benefit from cutting Fish as its own song and throwing off Radical's Transylvania and Her, so therefore this song would be 13 songs long, even then some songs might need some changing to pace it better. Goblin fits in a group of 2 albums where I find the actual concept to be way better than the execution, with the other being down. With all I've said, I'll give this album a 5.5 out of 10. So, the next video I'll be breaking down Tyler's next 2 albums, Wolf and Cherry Bomb. Goodbye.